Hey guys, welcome. If you're new here, you may have missed that I built a console table not so very long ago, and I promised that I would also make a coffee table in exactly the same way, and I have finally done that. Now this video did not start out the way I had planned. So I started this project by building the legs about 2 weeks ago, and I was very proud of myself because that meant that I had a head start on this video. And then I lost the footage. I lost like hundreds of videos. I'm incredibly sorry. Now luckily this is exactly the same process as what I did for the side table. So if anything is unclear, maybe you can go back to that video and see if it was clearer there. But I'm going to try and be as thorough as possible and explain to you exactly what I've done. So as you can see, I drew a line on my workbench right here, and I also drew a line horizontally. And what I did is I grabbed the legs, obviously before I had cut them, and I put them on my workbench like this, imagining that this would be where I had to attach them. So I wanted the table to be 40 centimeters high, and I calculated how much I would need underneath, excluding this piece and the board that would be on top, obviously. I laid it out in the angle that I would want them, and then I would simply draw a line underneath this piece right here so that I knew where to cut it, and also that I could calculate the angle at which I cut. And then we would have a line that looked something like this, and therefore I could just position my saw exactly so that it would align with the line that I made. And I was very precise in this. I definitely took my time. I would slowly move it a little bit more just until it aligned perfectly. And then here it would show me exactly which angle I used, and I could mirror that for the other side. I then cut up this piece, which was not really important how wide it was. I just needed it to be wide enough so that it would cover all the 4 boards, and I simply screwed them on there. I clamped this piece onto my workbench so that it wouldn't move, and that I could hold this in place and pre-drill the holes and put the screws in. I also put some wood glue underneath, by the way. I then used pretty much the same method as before to calculate this piece, which is going to be the support that's going to be in here. I simply laid out this piece of wood, put this on top, and then drew a line. So I simply drew a line on both sides and cut it on my miter saw. Now to make sure that the top of the table was as pretty as possible, I sorted out all the different pieces of wood to make sure that the prettiest side was up. This wasn't incredibly important because we were going to rough it up anyway, but I'm a perfectionist. I don't know. Maybe I like spending precious time on things that don't matter. I then marked exactly where I wanted the pocket hole screws to be. I do this in a lot of detail. I actually mark arrows because I am stupid. And if I don't mark arrows, I will definitely drill the pocket holes on the wrong side or the wrong way, or it's a thing. I am not an expert on this. I have no idea if maybe I am completely overdoing this, but it worked for me so far. So what I do is I mark where the holes go. For this specific piece, I do 3 pocket holes in the first board that screw into the second board. Then on the second board, I do 2 holes that go up into the first, and so on and so on. So my clamps are not long enough, so we're gonna have to get creative. I think I need 2 clamps just for one end, like this. And I'm gonna have to connect them like that. Ugh. I also cannot see anything. I don't complain about the sun very often. I love the sun, but it's very bright. Another trick that I use to make sure that all the boards are exactly level and at the same height, I will put a piece of board on top and one at the bottom and make sure that they're long enough to cover all 4 boards, and then I clamp them together just to make sure that it's all very straight. Now my plan was to make this look like it was one big piece of wood. It had to be as seamless as I could get it. So before I started building that console table, I obviously did some research. I looked at some videos and some tutorials on what the best way would be to make it look old and distressed. A lot of them actually said you can't really do it wrong. Just go nuts at it with a wire brush and a hammer and a screwdriver and just damage it and you can't do it wrong. I don't fully agree with that. I actually started this way with the console table. I actually had our kid help me out and just hammer on it, and that turned out to become the bottom piece. It still looked good, but it didn't look very realistic to me. So I tried to imagine if it really was old and damaged, what would have happened to it exactly? So I imagined it was stored in someone's attic and things had been thrown on top, or it was stored in an antique store. I have seen antique stores that are just really messy, where they just stack chairs on top of tables. Maybe something like that happened, and kind of replicate that kind of damage. That is not to say that I won't be doing any random things, because this is just way too perfect. I definitely need to do some things just to make it look a little bit more worn, and then I will show you the more intentional techniques that I have used. So I'm going to start with an 80 grit sandpaper because I want to get these letters off, and then we'll get started. By the way, I'm not only taking off the lettering, I am also smoothing out the pieces where the boards come together. I'm trying to make it look like it was one piece, and you will always be able to see if you look really closely, but I'm going to try and make it look as hidden as possible. Now, as I said, we are trying to make this new wood look like it was very old and damaged. So one of the things that I grabbed to do this is the drill that I actually use to drill my pocket holes. Now, don't ask me why. I'm sure it's not very good for the drill, but it works really well. So this is how I just damage all the sides. I do keep in mind that I will be sanding all of that later, so it doesn't really matter how I do it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just damage as much as I can. Because I'm trying to make it look very, very old, I don't want any straight edges. So all of the edges can be damaged and smoothed out. Another thing I used that I thought was very important for this design is a wire brush. It is really good to roughen up the wood grain, and it gives a really, really nice effect in the end, especially after you stain it. So I didn't actually have a wire brush. I bought one specifically for this project, or for the console table then, and I think it's absolutely worth it. I also used a hammer to damage the whole thing. However, I would be very careful, because if you are going to just whack at that thing with your hammer, the only thing that is going to happen is you're going to get a lot of identical dents in your tabletop, and I just don't think that looks very realistic. So I mostly used it on the sides and on the corners. So as I said, there are a couple of things that you can do to be just a little bit more intentional about the damage that we create. So it would have had damage on the corners and the edges. So I'm going to take my jigsaw, and I'm simply going to take just a couple of pieces off. We were happy at the time. Can't remember what it felt like. We used to be so strong. Additionally, I'm just putting a couple of cuts on the end. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment is this word. It's cold. Hang on. Okay, these are not the kind of gloves that are gonna keep my hands warm, but I found them in my car. So another thing that I thought looked really, really good is if I use a screwdriver to create the illusion of cracked wood. So imagine that it has been wet maybe, and it had dried again, therefore the wood has dried and cracked. I am using the cuts that I just made as a starting point, and I'm just going to create like little slits in the wood with my screwdriver. I'll show you how I did it. But we danced around and didn't mind it. So young and reckless, baby, you and I fit just like a glove. But I And then now the job that we all very much despise, sanding. I have to admit that I don't really hate it for this particular piece because it is incredibly satisfying, the first stage of it anyway, because I will be sanding off all the harsh edges, so it will all become very, very smooth. Oh, and of course, I did the same process to the legs. So I sanded the tabletop up to 120 grit sandpaper. Another thing I did is I made some adjustments to the legs that I had made. It still looked a little bit too perfect. So I added this little edge here and I did that on multiple sides. I also did the other set of legs, which I hadn't done at all yet. So I also damaged this as much as I could. I still have to sand that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and get my 80 grit sandpaper and I'm gonna go and sand both sets of legs, then do 120 grit sandpaper on it, and then we can move on to 240 and 400 on all the pieces, and then we'll be done. And that would mean, let me check, it is now 2:15, so we'd be able to do that before it becomes dark. Oh, that is good. Then we can take it inside and stain, and then it would almost be done. Yay, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, see if we can get this all done before the sun goes down. Obviously, I need this to go in between here. When I did the console table, I actually did one pocket hole at the bottom on each side, and the risk with that is that it's gonna like twist that way. Now for the console table, that wasn't really important to me because I did glue it, so it was very sturdy. You know, that thing is just something that is gonna sit there and be pretty, but this coffee table is actually going to be used. It has to be very, very solid. So I want to put 2 pocket holes in there, and I actually think, I thought it wouldn't fit, but if I look at this and I just put this over it, I think it would fit perfectly fine. Don't you think? I think it will work. The thing is, this is not gonna fit inside my pocket hole jig, so I had to take this part out, and then I'm just gonna secure it with my clamp. Is this right? Like this. I will glue this in, and then I'm gonna leave it, and then I will do the screws later when it's dry, because then I have the least amount of risk that it's gonna move when I put the screws in. We're using a lot of glue. Well, okay, not too much. Glue on that side, glue on this side. Oh, it's heavy. Now I actually want to assemble it here before we stain it, because there's one more part that we need, and that is the support that is going to be between the legs right here. And I cannot really calculate that very precisely until I've put things together. So I'm going to screw it in, but I'm not going to glue it yet, because then I can still change my mind. And also I want to take it all apart when we're going to stain it, because it's just easier, it's more manageable. Where did all the drill things go? Where did I put the drill thing now? There it is. Okay. And we have a table. There. I've decided I'm gonna take everything inside because it's getting too dark and I can't feel my toes. So, you know, we could just figure this out tomorrow. I can add them later, that's perfectly fine. As I said before, I took the legs off of the tabletop to be able to stain it. Should not have done that. Nope, there was no way I was getting those legs back on in exactly the same screw holes that I had made before. I couldn't do it. And if I was not gonna get them in exactly the same place, then obviously my supports wouldn't fit. So, tip to you, if you're gonna build this coffee table, do it the way I did with the console table. Just do the entire table, leave everything in place, stain everything, and then make the supports at the very, very last. Or build the entire thing, make sure it's completely done, and then stain everything at once, just keeping it assembled. To stain this piece, I used my all-time favorite chestnut color.
I don't know for how long I can carry on, pretending that everything's alright, and that it will be fine in the end. I step into the water to wash away the pain. The devil's breath on my neck, but the touch from the warm wind.
So it is done. There are a couple of little spots where the stain didn't catch, so I will simply touch them up with a tiny little brush. And then I think we'll be done. No, actually I won't be. I am going to put a couple of layers of polyurethane over this because it is going to be heavily used and I want to protect it. So I will do that off camera because it's completely invisible. It would be very boring to watch. And then we'll be able to put it in place and style it, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. It makes me smile, and it also makes sure that I can make more videos. And then I hope that you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next one.